retreat starts at 4.5 days and works its way up. So maybe someday we can do a retreat somewhere off in a mountain cave, I don't know, where you go for a retreat.
We have 10 acres in Death Valley. It's
Yeah,
silent.
that is like
So what, everyone would bring their tent and we camp out?
Yes. Yes.
That's the ideal, so we should work towards that, because that will make a huge difference. But what I want to do tonight is give you the essential points of the workshop, as much as we have time for, and there's a few that are very transformational, that if we can make a huge difference. And then I want to engage you in discussing personally how you can improve with a partner. Then also doing some guided japa, just and trying to bring up more of what is essentially important. And so what I'm going to teach is both what I learned in preparing for this course, and I also work with Satchidananda Swami. I learned a lot from him, Giriraj Swami, Ravinda Sarup, Introductory Swami. We all had the opportunity to work together. And then also as a teacher, I learned a lot from the reflections of students, and specifically their challenges. So one of the things that I feel is most fundamental and transformational is a little question I ask people, and the question is, what's in your mantra? You know that commercial, Capital One, what's in your wallet? You know that commercial? See, this is America, so I can use that. When I'm out of America, I don't know they have that commercial, so I have to tell everybody. But in America, they have this commercial, what's in your wallet? They do something funny, and you're supposed to have your Capital One card in your wallet, right? So what's in your mantra? What does that mean? Well, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and also Srila Prabhupada, but more so clearly Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Are we able to manipulate?
Should you have
Can with the pad, the touch pad.
okay.
Present. Anyway, if you can't do it, it's okay. And in fact, better not do it because everyone will watch you instead of me. Unless you can do it from the back.
If you'd like, you can use this.
How do we get it bigger?
And we can just on the green dot on the
Yeah,
right side. We'll expand.
And then how
And
do we
we can
move it?
scroll down.
It's 2 fingers.
2 fingers scroll and expand.
Oh, this is gonna.
I can do it for you in the back. You can just tell me when to flip.
This is like. Wow, is that hard to read? With that
It is. It looks like this.
clicky.
No, it's okay.
Anyway, I'm going to find this quote. It could be like who knows how many slides down. We spend the whole first evening just setting things up, as you can see, and getting everyone to come on time. Okay, this is good. I'm going to hold on a second.
Okay.
if you make it small, everything will be
This is good. So, but I'll go to the first idea. So, I don't want to scroll through 25 more pages, but we'll go through some of the goals, but within the goals I could give you the idea of how you can improve your japa. So what they said was that if you say Hare Krishna, and you think, if I say Hare Krishna 108 times, that's one round. 108 mantras, that's one round. If I'm initiated or I live in a temple, I want to get initiated, within ISKCON, at least the standard is 16, or whatever your number is, 4, 8, 12, 16. We all have a goal, right? So then the thinking is, if I chant 108 times whatever that vow I made is, then I've achieved my goal. And then everything's cool, right? I made my goal. Why don't you come in a little, because if someone comes late, then they have to bang into you. If you want a cushion or something, I have here. Oh, you have one, okay. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta kind of, to use a colloquial expression, which is well used in the Hare Krishna movement, blew our minds by saying that just by chanting the holy name, the mere recitation, the mere speaking, is not the holy name. So just by saying Hare Krishna 108 times whatever number of rounds, that's not the holy name. So what did he mean? So I came up to explain this with this idea of what's in your mantra. So we're going to have some fun now by looking at what's in our mantra. So what's in a mantra? For some of us, what's in a mantra is the number. The focus is the number. My heart is focused on the number. How many rounds do I have left? What time is it? How long is it? So I'm focused on it. And when I finish the number, whatever it is, I get to put my bead bag down. And some form of, it's over, whew, that was tough, or whatever it is, that was hard, and So just honestly speaking, if we ask you what's in your mantra is the number I'm trying to achieve. That's what your focus is. That's what your thinking is. When we say what's in your mantra, we say, where's your heart? Where's your heart? I had this other realization, which was an extension of what's in your number. One morning, it's a, what do they say? When two things meet, a moment of truth. Yeah, a moment of truth. I think every morning when you put your hand in your bead bag, it's a moment of truth. Because unknown to you, something happens when you do that. Something clicks. And what it clicks is either something like, this is going to be fantastic, this is going to be okay, this is going to be difficult, or I don't even want to do this, because yesterday was horrible. Something like that is going on subconsciously. We're not generally aware of it. But one day I became aware of it. And so there was a mantra going on in my head, and it said something like this: oh no, here we go again. And the reason that mantra was there is because my japa had been really bad. And I anticipated it's going to continue. And because it was bad, it was difficult. And it was sometimes very boring, could even be torturous. Have you ever had that experience? Japa torture? Do you know there's a planet where you go if you don't chant good japa, where you have to chant 192 rounds before you get something to eat? Did you know that? No, could you? He said, don't send me to that planet. I don't want to go to that planet. So I put my hand in my bag, and this little voice came and said, oh no, here we go again, which meant it's going to be a repeat of yesterday and last week, in which I was struggling through my rounds. I had another experience, which was transformational and unknown to this devotee. And I think it transformed many devotees because I teach this in my workshop. I was with a devotee, and after Tulsi Puja, I was sitting next to him in our temples. We have Mangal Arti, then we have Tulsi Puja. Then after Tulsi Puja, we sit down and we chant. So I was sitting next to him, and he said something to himself, which was not, oh no, here we go again. It was the exact opposite. He said to himself, but I heard him, he said, now it's time for my favorite activity. Interesting. And he wasn't saying that to psych himself up. He was saying it because that's how he felt. So what was in my mantra? Oh no, here we go again. What was in his mantra? This is my favorite activity. You see? So what Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati are saying, what's in your mantra is not what's coming out of your mouth, but what's coming out of your heart, because that's creating the consciousness with which you put into your chanting. Just like I'm married, and I could say to my wife, I love you. And she could say, no you don't. But why would she say that? She says, look at how you said that. Well, I have to react this. I love you, my dear wife. I love you so much. You are everything to me. Like, what are you talking about? So, we all know it's not as much as what you say, but how you say it, right? Because how you say it communicates, right? The interesting thing that I learned from this revelation was we personally experience when we're chanting the consciousness that we're putting into the holy name. So we don't even, if we're not chanting properly, we don't even believe it. You know, oh Krishna, I just want to serve you. No, you don't. Oh Krishna, this is relishable. I love this chanting. No, you don't. We read what Shastra says about the holy name and we're chanting. Nah, that's not. Full of nectar, I wish I had 1,000 tongues. No, I wish I could just get this over with. There's a lot of times in meditation. Or something similar. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but I want to make the point. So, Bhaktisiddhanta compared the holy name to a deity. When we have deities and we install them in a temple, what do? One senior devotee comes and he asks Krishna, please come in the deity. We're going to install and officially worship him. We're asking him to come. Bhaktisiddhanta said, the mere recitation of the name is not Krishna. But Krishna descends in his name when you have the mood of service. When you have the right mood, the mood of service. Hare Krishna, I want to serve. So I have this funny, I don't know where it is. There's like 120 slides and I can't. Usually in 2 hours I don't even bring slides because I could spend 2 hours on one slide. I don't want to do that. But I have a slide of a picture. It's an emoticon of a picture of a face where somebody looks completely bored. And that's the, I forget what I had as a title for that. We had this thing about being in the Japa zone or out of the zone or something, I can't remember. But, everybody looks at it and says, yeah, sometimes I feel like that. So, it's time for a little humor. Is it all right to be funny?
Yes.
Can I still, I think my eternal rasa is a coward boy because I can be very funny. And Krishna the coward boy is very funny. Of course, he's funny with the gopis also. Have you ever seen a devotee chanting? It looks something like this. I'm sure you've seen it. If you haven't, you will someday. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
I carry laxatives because it looks like they have constipation. What's actually going on? It's like this struggle in the mind. And struggle to hear. It's all struggle. And that's not what Japa is about. So, from teaching the Japa workshops many, many times, I don't know if any of you are teachers, but if you're a teacher, eventually you start to understand what is the essential problem and what is the essential solution. Any of you who teach, if you just understand the essential problem and the essential solution, you'll have an amazing class or amazing workshop, amazing seminar, those two things. And so I began to realize the essential problem was we were chanting without feeling. And, we hear, you're just supposed to hear, just chant and hear. It's if you focus on that, it can become very mechanical. So then this is the other kind of devotee. I don't know if you've seen this one. Hare Krishna, Krishna. And that's to get the hearing, So it goes in your arm and back in your ear. You know that one?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Krishna. Then a upgrade of that is Hare Krishna, Krishna. I've seen that one. Hare Ram, Ram, Ram. And then you can add a little bit body, Hare Krishna, Krishna. So, I love you, honey. Say it with feeling. I love you, honey. I love you, honey. You understand? It's not about mechanics. So, another realization I had, and this happened a lot in South India, where people are they're very into doing things properly, which is good. But it has a downside when you apply it to something that's in a relationship, because it's not about doing it properly only, it's about doing it in the right mood. So I would get questions such as, could you tell me exactly how long it's supposed to take to chant one round? I'd say, well, between 5 and 10 minutes. No, I need exactly. Like, what is right? Is it like 7 minutes, 43 seconds? I was exaggerating, but it was something like, that's the way they think. Process oriented. I need exactly to know. And should I be sitting east when I chant? Is it okay to stand up? What about walking? Is it all right if I walk? Should I do it in front of an altar? These kinds of process questions, right? So I'm at the therapist. The therapist says, tell your wife you love her. Should I say it facing east? How fast should I say it? Fast, slow? What time of day should I say it? What's the best time? Well, there might be a right time, okay, say it when you first come home, I'm not saying there's no process, because we should sit straight, we should properly pronounce. But then if your whole focus is, I'm chanting, am I sitting straight? Started this loud, better sit straight. Am I pronouncing the Hare Krishna mantra properly? I have some news for you. As Americans, none of you pronounce it properly, so don't worry. Hare Krishna Prabhu! I would say,
About Russians.
Russians they're in another league. Russians and South Americans, they're in another league. I would say, outside of a few devotees, usually mostly Indians or Sanskritas, we all pronounce it wrong. Right? So one Sanskrit scholar went to Prabhupada and said, your devotees are pronouncing the Hare Krishna mantra wrong. Prabhupada said, yes, I know, but Krishna knows who they're chanting to. So, so Prabhupada's confirming is about feeling, it's not about... So, I've got it, sit straight, I'm facing east, proper pronunciation, put the bead bag over the heart, I got the Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I got the process down. And the whole time I'm chanting, I'm thinking, process. How long is it taking me? Am I sitting straight? That's not what it's about. Not that that's not good, it's good. But I had a realization. If you get the process, if you get the heart right, you'll get the process right. In other words, if you're chanting with devotion, are you going to chant like this? No. If the bhakti's there, you're not going to chant like that, right? If you love your wife and you want to tell her, you don't go, hey baby, I love you. No, you go up and say, I just want to tell you how much you mean to me and brought you these flowers, give her a hug and say, I really want you to know I love you. You'll do all that, right? The physiology will follow, doesn't it? Because, there's a saying, psychology follows physiology, but it's also physiology follows psychology, isn't it? Hare Krishna. So I'm, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. You don't do that like this. Hare Krishna. It's just, your body's going to follow your mind, right? So every time I'm chanting my rounds like this, or leaning against the car or a wall, the first thing comes to my mind is what's going on inside, because that is showing me where my mind's at, right? Or I'm looking at my watch, or I'm going through a magazine, even BTG, that's a no-no. I'm reading and chanting. When it gets really bad, I'm watching a Krishna video. Those are all symptoms, red flags, right? So we get a lot of these process questions, which made me understand that what's happening for a lot of devotees is when they look at Krishna consciousness, and specifically when they look at chanting, they're tending to focus on process, not mood. So I realized this question, which always comes up, is, Prabhu, how do I control my mind when I chant? My mind wanders. That's the perennial question. It comes up 10,000 times at any workshop. You don't have to ask it, because I will address it. And I realized, I've heard so many teachings on how to control the mind, and I always felt, they were too process-oriented. I'd hear, well, just do this, just, focus on the first Hare, or just, do the breathing, all good stuff, but it never really lasted, at least for me. If I have to keep focusing on I have to keep reminding myself, focus on the first Hare. Or I have to keep reminding myself, just be present, mindfulness, just be present with this one mantra. But if you actually realize it, if you have to remind yourself to be present, you're not present anymore. Right? Hare Krishna, be present. As soon as I think, be present, I'm not present, because I just stopped being present to the holy name. Right? You understand? Remind yourself, just catch that first mantra. I've just lost it. Catch the first syllable. Now, I'm not saying these things don't work for some people, but I wanted to go further. And so I was doing some study, and I took a course, and the course had as its foundation mindfulness. So I got to understand, this was like, I must have done like total of like 130 hours of this stuff. That's a lot of hours to just go in your head, isn't it? Self-reflect. But I understood from doing that course something that I applied to Japa that I think can help us tremendously. That mindfulness just means being present, and being present means present to the experience. What are you feeling right now? Because if you're aware of what you're feeling, that's when you're present, right? You can't be more present than feeling. And when you're not present, it goes to your head. And what do you do in your head? You think. And when you think, you don't feel. Because feeling is a subtle aspect of thinking. Right? So as long as you're thinking, you're not feeling. And as long as you're feeling, you're not thinking. Or at least not thinking much. And we'll do some exercise to help you with that. How did I realize this? Because we did lots and lots of work with experiencing, and they would say things like, experience what you're experiencing, see what you're looking at, hear what you're hearing. You've been in Bhagavatam class, and you didn't hear what you were hearing, right? You're hearing, and your mind went away. You're looking at the deities, you come out of the temple, I said, what color are they wearing? And you say, I was just thinking what I had to do in the office today, I can't even tell you. Anyone have that experience? You're looking at something, and you're thinking something else. The most common experience is we're listening to someone talk, and the sound's going in our head, but we're thinking of something else. Right? Ladies, you have that experience with your husbands? I know the answer. Yes, 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 yes. Right? So often the wife is speaking to the husband, and he's not valuing what she's saying, or he's busy, he's thinking of something else. So he's hearing, but he's not hearing. Hear what you're hearing, see what you're seeing, experience what you're experiencing. So, we're going to do a little exercise that you're going to love, which is going to allow you to experience the holy name. So, through all this work, I realized that if you want to control your mind, don't battle it. You can't. That was just my personal experience, because you'll always be in your mind, oh, I lost the mantra. Where did it go? You have to get it back. And you're kind of losing your experience with the mantra. So then I read something Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. He said, one of the offenses is inattention. And he said, how to control the mind. How not to be inattentive while chanting. He said, it's impossible. I was like, impossible? He's basically saying, you're trying. But it's impossible, because he said, but you need mercy to do it. You need some other system. Just try to control your mind. Good luck, Prabhu. You might do it for a while, but to actually do it, you need mercy. So, my realization was, you have to feel the Maha Mantra, you have to experience it, and you have to put feeling into it. So it's working both ways. Like, I can experience you by your vibration and what you say to me, and then I can experience my affection for you by what I give to you. So, it's Krishna giving and Krishna taking. So, sometimes we're chanting, we can feel the mercy, right? You're chanting and you just feel, wow, this is amazing. And sometimes you're chanting and you're giving the feeling, oh, Krishna, please help. Right? It's working both ways. So I realized the two ways that we evoke feeling is to put our feeling through prayer, and then also feel the holy name. So to me, that was the most miraculous discovery, and my whole workshop was based on that. Those two things. And if I got those two things, if devotees got that, the japa would completely change. Because everyone who came to the workshops realized, yeah, I'm just trying to get my rounds done. And I think the process is sufficient. I get my rounds done, somehow I hear, or even I don't hear, I get them done. It's chalked up on the board, and then it's good. And then we realized that actually sometimes chanting 16 rounds gets in the way. So I tell some people something revolutionary for which I could be excommunicated from the ISKCON movement. But I will explain that. So the goal is not to chant 16 rounds. So Dustin is going to take initiation. He's going to vow to chant 16 rounds. And then I'm going to tell him the goal is not to chant 16 rounds. It's not really the goal. It's like I could get somebody married and I could say, your goal is to be married for 50 years. It's not really the goal. Your goal is to love one another. Because if you love one another, you'll be married for 50 years, right? So to say your goal is to be married for 50 years, that's like, it's more process-oriented. Here's your number, go for it. After 50 years, I don't care what you do. But stay together. Become a Babaji under a tree and, Radha-Kund, whatever you want to do. But 50, So, the husband's like, it's 47 years ago, 3 years to go, honey, and I'm out of here. Nice knowing you. So, that's why we say the goal. I want to give you a little principle from my marriage workshop because it's amazing. It's one of my amazing principles, and it relates to what we're talking about here. I was reading a book called Marriage Fitness. I teach workshops, so I was reading a book called Marriage Fitness. It was recommended to me, and it was very insightful. It was very Krishna conscious. And he said the same thing. He said it's not about the process, it's about the relationship. He said, because you can learn the process. This is how you treat a woman. You got to listen, you have to say these things. It's all process. And he said, if you value the relationship, if you actually have affection, you'll do all the process. If you love somebody, will you listen to them when they talk? Of course you will. If you have affection for someone, will you be kind? Will you give them time? You'll naturally do it. It's a byproduct of a relationship. So he made the point, which really hit me. He said, couples could take a communication course, learn how to listen, learn how to talk. Right? Does that mean they're going to listen and talk properly? No. It's just a process. They know how to do it. He said, if you work on the relationship, will they listen? Yes. Because the relationship is good. He said, do newlyweds or couples that are young, do they need communication courses? No way. That's all they do is talk. They need a course to not talk so much because they don't sleep enough because they're on the phone till 1 at night talking. Right? They can't stop talking, isn't it? Then they hit that point where there's like, honey, can we talk later? It's like something gets disconnected. So if you help them connect, you don't have to teach them a communication course, right? They'll just naturally communicate. Does that make sense? So I said, that's perfect. It's the same thing. When you connect with the holy name, do you need all the processes, the feeling, everything? It's coming from the feeling. So, then the next thing we discovered was very, very interesting. I can send you these things. If I get your emails, I can send you some of these things you can take home.
Thank you.
So everybody send their email. Satyananda Swami had found different acharyas had different meanings to the holy name. So we say the holy name means, Prabhupada said, oh, Krishna or Radha, please engage me in your service. That's what it means. But then we found the other acharyas had given other meanings. And we also found that Prabhupada had given 2 other meanings. One meaning was, oh my friend, oh my friend. And these meanings are meditations, you could say, on chanting the holy name. And the other one was, please accept me. Please, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, please accept me. Accept me into the relationship. I left it, accept me back. I'm asking, will you accept me? Like we had talked yesterday or the day before about being accepted in the relationship. And then other acharyas would say things like, oh Krishna, please make me qualified to be your servant. Oh Krishna, please pull my heart to you. He's chanting Hare Krishna. To him it means, please pull my heart, not just accept me, but pull my heart to you, so my heart is just for you. And then when I analyzed every one of these, what it was called, meditate on the meaning of the holy name, they were all emotions, they were all feelings, that's all they were. Krishna, please accept me. And I just wanted to enlighten you on this one, because it's so full of emotion, and you could imagine the emotion that you would experience while you're chanting. Krishna, please accept me. Prabhupada said, I don't have a right to ask that. I left Krishna, and now I don't have a right. Now imagine, you're feeling, I don't have a right to ask Krishna to accept me. But because you met your spiritual master, because you met Prabhupada, this seed of desire to reconnect with Krishna has become very strong. And you have these two emotions. I have no right to ask, but I have to ask. Right? That's an intense emotion. And I'm awakening this realization. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, remorse. Now I'm awakening remorse. And I'm chanting in remorse. What's the remorse? I left you. That's a powerful emotion to think, isn't it? I left you, Krishna. And now I want to reconnect. And I forgot you, and I did so many sinful things. So, if you imbibe that emotion when you're chanting, that's powerful, isn't it? You're begging, Hare Krishna, Krishna please accept me. That's a powerful meditation, isn't it? So, that's just one of the meanings. And so, if any of these meanings you connect to, they're full of emotion. Then I realized that actually you don't even have to copy any of these meanings because you have your own meaning. What does the holy name mean for you? What do you want? And so you're chanting. You have a problem. Krishna, I have this big false ego. Please help me. Hare Krishna, Krishna. You're just begging. Please. You have a desire. You want to live in Vrindavan. Hare Krishna, please let me be a resident of Vrindavan someday. Hare Krishna. You have on a higher stage, you have the desire to enter your relationship in a particular way. On a lower stage, it's just Krishna, I want to be a pure devotee. I want to serve my Guru. I want to be pure. I want to follow his instruction. It could be anything. But what it does is it enacts emotion. So now when you're chanting, what's going on? There's a lot of emotion there. You're not looking at your watch. You're not flipping through BTG. You're not lounging and chanting. We have fun,